Your limitation is your imagination. I am Ritu Singh, your science teacher, and today we will continue our previous chapter, which is friction. So today we will discuss this topic, that how can we reduce or increase friction. So first we will discuss about the increasing friction. Okay, students, sometimes we need to increase friction so that we will not slip on the smooth surface. Okay, so that's why we have grits in our shoes. Okay, this is the sole of a shoe. So these shoe soles are grooved so that they will increase the friction between our feet and the earth. So this is how we will be able to walk easily. Okay, the tires are treated so that they can have a better grip over the ground and allow the smooth movement of the vehicles. As these tires have treated, so that's why they also allow us to move easily on the road. Okay, otherwise we can slip. Okay, so this is the use of increased friction. So this is why we need to increase friction. And now it's reducing friction. Why do we need to reduce friction? Sometimes in order to have a smooth movement of an object, we need to reduce friction. How? Let me tell you. The powder is sprinkled over the carom board to decrease the friction between the board surface and the striker. In this way, the surface of the carom board becomes smooth. Sometimes we need to make things smooth. So that's why we need to reduce the friction, as we use grease in vehicles, right? As we also oil our vehicles, okay, and we use powder on carom board. So these are some examples that why do we need to reduce friction. So we need to reduce friction so that our walk or anything or any work will be smooth. If we will not grease our vehicles, so the parts of our vehicles will get spoiled with that friction, okay, or they will rub with each other. So this is why we need to grease our vehicles. Okay, oil is applied on the hinges of the door so that they can move easily. Okay, so this is why oil is applied to the hinge of the door so that they can move easily. Okay, how we reduce friction? We know that when an object rolls over a surface, rolling friction is produced which resists its motion on the surface. Okay. However, its magnitude is lesser than the static and sliding friction. As we know that in sliding friction, a force works in the opposite direction of our force. Okay. Same as that in rolling friction, a friction work in the opposite direction of the object. If I am rolling an object on this ground or on this floor, then a force will work in the opposite direction of that object. Okay, so we can say that there is a force which always oppose or try to oppose our force. That if I am applying my force in this direction, so there will be a force which will oppose my force in this direction. Okay, in the opposite direction, which we have studied in the same chapter. So now we'll discuss about fluid friction. What is fluid friction? So we have already discussed this fluid friction in the same chapter, that what is fluid friction? As if I am applying, as a swimmer apply a force in the direction. Okay, so there is a force which is applied by the fluid on that swimmer. Okay, so what is that? That is the friction force of fluid or fluid friction. Okay, so there are fluid friction comprises internal and external friction. Okay, how many types of frictions can be applied by a fluid? Internal and external. Fluid comprise of internal friction that occurs between the molecules of a liquid as they are also in motion. The viscosity of a liquid therefore depend upon the internal friction. Okay, and external friction in fluid is the force exerted by the fluid on the object that flow through it. Okay, so as an object travel in a fluid, it loses its energy in order to overcome the fluid friction. Hence, things that can easily flow in fluids have special shapes like ships. Okay, so for instance, ships and boats have a particular shape that allow them to resist fluid. Okay, so we can say that a fluid comprise internal and external friction. Okay, So students, this is for today. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.